Just give me a moment here, getting everything set up still. So today we are flying Easyjet real world operations via the A Pilot's Life career add-on from Simbit World. So it should be pretty exciting here. And I'm just gonna get full screen mode going here. So, that bar on the top is a little annoying. Apply and save. And we're flying the Phoenix A320 Easyjet. And our departure is from LSGG. And we're going to make the time early morning. So today's flight, Mr. Captain Orange, we're flying from Switzerland to Gatwick, EGKK. I believe that's Gatwick. Yeah, that's London Gatwick, okay. Okay, here we go. Just let everything load in. And we'll get the dome lights on to bright here while we get the flight set up. So I'm just going to get the ground services connected. And hopefully a few more viewers will join in as we get the flight underway here. Yes, we will be flying via VATSIM today. We will be flying VATSIM today, yes. So I'm going to get this connected right now. Our SimBrief flight plan has already been filed. So that's ready to go. This might crash. Hang on. Last time I did this, it crashed the sim. I hope it doesn't happen now. Okay, looks like we're good. And let me just get the flight number here. We are EZS72WC. And let me just pull up my iPad here with the flight plan here. Make sure we're all got everything loaded up before we start punching stuff into the computer here. And forgive me, I'm a bit sick today, so I'm not in tip-top shape, but nonetheless, should be a good flight. And we're going to be doing a few flights actually. Oh, Michael Byers. Yeah, it is tricky. I agree. VATSIM is a little tricky, but you know, you get used to it, and especially given that we're flying in Europe right now, there are basically no controllers online, so I don't even think we'll have ATC. But still, it's nice. I like flying with VATSIM because I like to see other aircraft in the area. So, all right. So let's connect our client here. We are call sign EZS. That's Easyjet Switzerland. 8481. Connect. We're connected. And let me just make sure the push to talk is working. Double check which one I had there. Push to talk. Oh, I'm tilt. There we go. So it is working. Beautiful. That's great. I like that you guys are trying out VATSIM. It is a ton of fun, and flying it outside of US, I don't do. I can totally understand that for sure, because in Europe the controllers are a bit hard to understand. So I 100% agree with that. We'll get the cargo doors open here. We got the stairs coming in for the aft as well, for anything that's needed down there. Jetway's already been connected, so let's go ahead and start getting our numbers in here. So we have a planned 0 fuel weight of 62037, so this needs to be updated. So we'll head down over to the FMC. Just before we do that, let's finish up some pre-flight stuff up here. Make sure the seatbelt signs are on, nav and logos are on 1. And our wing lights, we'll turn that on for the walk around that the first officer will be conducting. Strobe lights will leave on automatic, they'll come on. Beacon lights not just yet. We have our dome lights up, and you know what, let's go ahead and adjust the cabin interior lighting at this time, because we will be dimming the dome light for takeoff. And yeah, that's that, and let's go over to the FMC. So we're gonna go into config, and fuel for today's flight is gonna be, our block fuel is, let's see, 6835 kilograms. And for those of you who've joined, we are flying from Switzerland, Geneva, to London, Gatwick. This is the first leg of today's flight. We have a full schedule today that we're going to be flying. Probably going to fit in about 4 flights before we call it a night. So we have fuel of 6834 kilograms, and our 0 fuel weight is 62037. And there we go. Center of gravity 28.8. Good. So that's been initialized. We'll go ahead and head over to the iPad, make sure that has been loaded here, and we'll make an instant load because I don't want to wait for that. Boarding completed. Beautiful. And 0 fuel weight's good. Ground services are disconnecting. Perfect. We'll go ahead and initialize the request, as this was filed through SimBrief and everything is connected to SimBrief. And Michael, yeah, that's how I agree. It is quite intimidating when you first started off, but you know, you get, like I said, you get used to it, and you start to really appreciate flying with it, because it just makes you feel like you're not alone in this world of flight sim. So that's why I like flying it. I don't like feeling alone. So we're Easyjet Switzerland, flight number 8481. And our cost index for today's flight is going to be 6. Cruising flight level is going to be 340. And our IRS has already been initialized, as the aircraft is in a turnaround state. 0 fuel weight is 6.62.0. And we have a center of gravity of 31.2. That's nice. You did a flight from LAX to KSFO on Unicom, so there were no ATC. Sure. It's good practice. You know, you're just calling, make sure you call in your traffic in and out, and that's what we'll be doing on today's flight, as there's no ATC in this area, but I'll have to double check. There might be. I have to just check my VATSIM map. Block fuel is 6.8. And just wanted to check with you guys, how is my microphone quality? Does it sound okay, or can you hear like some fan noise in the background, or is everything okay? So we got the block view, and that's good. Now we'll go ahead and plug in our departure and arrival. So we're taking the deeper, or no, we're not taking the departure out of here actually. Yeah, we're just taking runway 4. Sounds good, thank you. So we're taking runway 4 and we're not taking any SID for this flight. We're going direct to deeper. So we'll do no SID, insert, and we'll just clear the flight plan discontinuity. And then for today's arrival at Gatwick, it's going to be the Kunav 1G for runway 26 left. ILS 26 left. And that's the Kunav 1G. And no transition, so we're going to insert that. Perfect. And now the last thing to do is the performance. So we'll go ahead and run the performance calculator here on the departure for the Phoenix. Sync load sheet final. We're doing ILS or runway 4. Sync live weather. Calculate. So we're doing 156, 156, 156. Okay. And our flaps takeoff shift. So we're doing 3/DN 0.2. 3/down 0.2. It's quite a low flap setting for takeoff. And our takeoff or flex to temp is 66 degrees. And there we go. Performance has been initialized. And our flight management computer has been initialized. We'll go head over back to the overhead. We'll dim the dome lights. APU bleed is on. We'll get the probe heat on. We'll get the fuel pumps on. We'll go ahead and alert the crew on the ground that the aircraft is now active. And we'll go ahead and call for pushback. For runway 04, let me just open up my charts here. So I got an iPad on the side that I'm using to look at charts. Michael, if you want to continue with VATSIM, I would totally recommend you get a subscription to Navigraph. Get it open on your iPhone or iPad, because when the ATC gives you instructions to fly, to taxi to a runway, for example, you have an airport chart with a moving map that shows your aircraft on the apron, and you can figure out how to get to your departure runway based on what the ATC gives you. It will also have your restrictions on your departures and arrivals. And you're going to need that because, you know, you might have an altitude restriction or a speed restriction at a certain waypoint. You certainly don't want to miss that, or else the controllers tend to get quite upset. Especially the Boston controllers. The Boston controllers, they're brutal sometimes. Okay, so we'll go over to ground services. We'll make sure that our chocks are set. Our parking brake is set. So we can get rid of our doors here, chocks, and our GPU. We can connect the tug, and while that's connecting, we'll double check our overhead panel here. Lights, we'll put that in the off position so they extend. Probe heat is on, fuel pumps are on, and there are no lights here that we can fix, so that's perfect. Tow should be connected now. One more thing here I forgot to do is set the flight level in the MCP, so we need 3,400 feet, flight level 340. There's flight level 340. We'll set that. Flight director's on my side, and we can go ahead and ask for pushback here. Get the tug pushing back, and Disconnect the parking brake. And start. And we're going to be pushing back to the left. And there's the cabin view. Yeah, Flight Plan Go is a good one. I don't know if it gives you access to as many charts as Navigraph does, though. We use Flight Sim Go at the 777 simulator, or Flight Plan Go at the 777 simulator, but that's because we don't get ATC instructions there. We just taxi to the runway and figure out what we need to do to taxi to the runway there, based off of the satellite map that you get. Go ahead and stop the pushback here because I don't want to hit. Alright, you can stop, thank you. I don't want to hit the any airplanes near us on the right side here. There was one parked. There it is. Okay, tow has been disconnected. We'll go ahead and start the engine start procedure here. We'll start with engine number 2. And we'll give that engine a listen. You guys hear that PTU kicking in? It's about to. Ready? We'll head into the cockpit. I believe engine number 2 is available now. There it is. We just caught the tail end of it. There it is. Yes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so there's our engine start. The air bleed has kicked back on. We'll head back into the cockpit. Go ahead and disengage the igniter. We'll set auto brakes to max. We'll set taxi lights on. Our beacon lights are on, nav and logos on 1, strobes on auto, and we'll disconnect the APU bleed and APU completely. And we'll do a flight control check before we go here. So we need the flight control check. Okay, full up, full down, full left, full right, full rudder left, full rudder right. Flight control check complete. We can go ahead and close that display. Let's see. We'll do a takeoff config test. Right. I'm gonna set flaps 3. Ground spoilers to armed. Takeoff config test. Takeoff config normal. Perfect. And let's go ahead and begin our taxi out. And we'll make sure that our app here is logging still. Flight simulator connected. Good stuff. Parking brake disconnected. And I'm just checking up on the VATSIM map now and make sure we don't have any ATC here. We don't, so we're good. So this taxiway here, we're still on the apron technically, and we're gonna have to taxi off the apron. Departing runway 04 out of Geneva this morning. It is currently 5:30, or no, 6:30 in the morning. No, 5:30 here in the morning. So by the time we get close to Gatwick, we'll be seeing a nice sunrise. And let's make sure we have enough room to exit this apron here on the right, because that GA is looking awfully close. Look at that. Oh, TCAS is still on standby. We'll make sure to set that to TARA and on auto. And everything else on the ECAM looks okay for now. Taxiing at 16 knots ground speed, we'll bump that up to about 30. Or we wouldn't want to exceed 30. 30 is usually the speed limit at these airports, so we don't want to go over 30. But man, this one time, can you read my loud please? Can I read your loud please, Bojan? I'm not entirely sure what you're trying to say there, my friend. Can you read my loud please? Michael Byers, you fly a Seneca VGA. Do you go to Seneca College? Because I go to Seneca College right now. I'm in the FPR program, but I'm in year 1. Okay. Boan, the J is silence. Thank you. But Mr. Michael Byers, you go to Seneca College? Because I go there right now. I'm studying in the FPR program. So that'd be pretty cool to know. So we don't need the extended taxiway here. We'll just go ahead and line up. And we'll get the takeoff lights on. Nose lights are on takeoff. And lining up with runway 04. There we go. Oh, look at that. We have another aircraft active on the ground. So VATSIM must be active. We'll go ahead and switch over to 120. Yeah, there we go. We just got a PDC. You don't appear to have filed the flight plan. EasyS27F. We have. Fetch from server. No flight plan found on the server. Okay, that's funny. We'll go ahead and refile. Prefile EZ72WC. Okay. ES72WC. We'll disconnect ES 72 WC. Connect. Should be fixed now. Thank you. And we'll go ahead and switch over to Unicom here, so 122.8. And EZ72 taking off runway 04, Geneva traffic. So flaps are set for takeoff, speed brakes are armed.
Geneva traffic, tops with 27 Foxtrot Lima, behind the departing company traffic, via Gulf lineup, and wait, runway 04 behind.
Awesome, so look at that, we got traffic close by. So we'll go ahead and add 50% throttle here. There's 50%. And we'll move it into flex. Flex set. Thrust set. So we're looking for a rotate speed of 156. And there's 156. And gear up. Flaps up. Flaps 1. Takeoff inhibit. And autopilot connected. Throttle lever to climb. Slats up. Brakes, parking brake on. That's weird. Okay, that's been off now.
Geneva traffic, tops with 27 Foxtrot Lima, taking off runway 04.
Okay, autopilot's disconnected. Why is that? That's not right. That's not right. Stand by, guys. I'll catch up with chat in just a second here. Want to make sure that we're stable. A stable situation here. Autopilot on. Speed is good, 4,500. Geneva traffic, EZ72 departing south, final call. Okay, we're climbing through 5,000. We got a speed of 260 knots. We are over speeding at this time. However, that should be fixed as we begin a more aggressive climb.
Terrain ahead.
Copy that. Yeah, we are
Terrain ahead.
We are in a mountainous area. Looks like we'll be okay though. There's 7,000. Switching to standard. Alright, looks like we're clear of the terrain. Okay, checking on chat now. Plus it matches with my GNS 530 and 430 units I have. Nice. Cool. Okay, you love the aircraft. That's great. Nav barrel ref discrepancy cross check. I'll just set his to standard as well. Are you using a PC or a laptop? This is a laptop. This is the Asus G14 here. How can you see my chat? I've got it open up on a phone on the side here, so I've got my YouTube stream opened up on my phone here. Do you know Bloons TD6? I don't know what that is, sorry. If you care to explain a little bit more to me, maybe I can figure out what you're trying to ask me there. Alright, so we reaching 10,000 now. We can go ahead and disconnect our landing lights. And same with the taxi lights. Everything else looks to be okay. We're now accelerating to our cruise speed. And it looks like we can now sit back for... we got about an hour and a half in this flight. And we'll be seeing a nice, beautiful sunrise coming up over Europe within the next about half hour or so. And this is leg one of our schedule. If you're curious to see our schedule for today, this is what it looks like. We have our first flight, which is EZ72 from Geneva to London Gatwick. And then we're taking Gatwick back to Geneva. Then from Geneva to Bordeaux, Marignac, and then from Bordeaux to Basel, Mulhouse. That is a nice airport. I love that place. Basel, Switzerland is a beautiful place. So I think we'll be able to squeeze in these 4 flights today and then call it a night. Obviously, nobody's obligated to stick around. Nobody's obligated to stick around for that long, but if you feel free to do so. It's like monkey, but it pop balloons. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. I'm sorry. 10K quick. Yeah, we do have quite a high rate of ascent here, and that's due to missing my my SID here. So for some reason, SimBrief did not assign us a SID, and for that reason, it's getting us to our top of climb rather quickly. Plus we had the terrain, and I believe the elevation at Geneva is also already pretty high. So I'm just looking at the airport chart right now, and let's see, what is the runway or airport elevation? Yeah, so elevation at Geneva is already 1407 feet. So there you go. 1400 feet. Let me just double check that. ESGG airport elevation 154 meters. Sorry, so it's 507 feet mean sea level. So there you go. It's already quite high. Now, I can't really say too much else. How was my day? My day wasn't too bad. It was quite a lazy day. I wish I got more stuff done, but it is what it is. How about you? Good, I post Microsoft Flight Sim. Okay, nice. What flight did you do? A320, you think? Nice. I love the A320. Hi Megan, was busy with pre-flight. I just checked again and you still are not showing, also you're showing us call sign. Is that yes that you meant to be yes, easy S, and in that case even though the aircraft is an Easyjet colors, the call sign is top Swiss, so as it's operated by Easyjet, which is being a stop trying to help. Well, thank you for the information. First flight with Easy today. So we'll double check that in our system here. EZS72WC. Man, so I messed that up again. We'll disconnect. EZS72WC. Connect. Okay. Changed it now. Thank you so much. That's embarrassing. And let me just check our sim brief. Sim brief filed us as EZS8481. And let me check my VATSIM filed. EZS72WC. Very beautiful. So our call sign is set. And we'll just make sure that's filed again. Call sign in use. Okay, good stuff. So it's working. That's okay. EZS equals Easyjet. Well, Switzerland call sign is top Swiss. EJU is Easyjet. Europe call sign Alpine. Easyjet UK, the original call sign is Easy. Beautiful. Thank you. So I'm just chatting with somebody on the VATSIM chat here. You guys probably see it. Okay, flight level 250 now. And we got just a little bit more to our top of climb. And we just want to double check the call sign here. I want to make sure I'm saying this right. Aircraft type is A320. Schedule. All flown in aircraft that just say Easyjet on the outside. The cabin announcers let you know which one you're flying with. Huh. Very interesting. So we call ourselves Top Swiss. Okay, good to know. Flying is so relaxing for me, especially at night. I agree. Early morning flight is the best, though, especially when you see the sunrise pop over the horizon, and that's what we're doing tonight. So we'll go ahead and turn off our seatbelt signs, just to give the passengers in the back some freedom to move. And we'll also set the cabin lights to off, just so that the passengers can catch up on a little bit of sleep in the back. Why do I like planes? Well, to be honest, I don't like any planes. I like airliners, and honestly, the reason I like airliners is because of the shape. I know it's a bit weird, but the shape their body has, the contour. There's something attractive about airliners to me, but I also really enjoy the procedures involved in flying them. And you know, like the fact that you have the responsibility on your shoulders of carrying passengers from one destination to another. So it's a bit of everything, you know. It's also the freedom, you know. When you're a real pilot, you get a lot of freedom, as in, you know, you're flying your legs at the end of your trip. If you end up in a destination that's not your home, you know, you get your hotel paid for. You get to see where you are landing. You get to explore the area around you. So there's a lot of cool pros to being a pilot, but that's not why I want to become a pilot. I love airplanes. I love airplanes, again, for their shape, the utility of them, the procedures that go behind it. I love flying airplanes to the procedure. I know that today's flight is kind of rough, so just let me get into the motion, the swing of things on the first leg of our schedule here today. Yeah, I've caught some great sunsets on the west coast. Even took some photos I printed. Nice. Sunsets on the west coast. So you like to fly on the west coast, eh? I prefer east coast, and that's because those Boston controllers on VATSIM are my favorite. They are a lot of fun to fly with when they are online, and they're usually almost every weekend they are online. I don't know, I just prefer the east coast a bit. Alright, we're doing flight level 3-1 or 320 at this time. Our cruise speed is 278 or so. And our ground speed right now is 394 knots. We have a headwind of 93 knots. Well, it's more of a crosswind really, but part of that 94 knots is going to be acting as a headwind for us. Total airspeed is 443 knots. So we're doing okay. Just want to double check the overhead panel here, make sure we're all good for lights. And the reason why I keep checking these lights is because the add-on that we're using for the career mode, it's checking to make sure that you're following the correct procedures at all stages of flights, and they dock points every time you make a mistake. So let's say you don't have your beacon lights throughout the flight, you're going to lose points on the flight. And you know, it's important to gain those experience points, because if you want to switch to another airline, like eventually I want to end up at Rouge in this add-on, at Air Canada Rouge, I'm going to need to be a certain rank in order to be considered for a job with Rouge. So that's why we need to keep on top of the procedures and make sure we're doing everything by the book. What did you learn at flight school? Well, flight school is not over yet. Alright, this is my first of 4 years that I have to do. It's a bachelor's degree program. It's with Seneca College in Toronto. And the way it works is they give you a bachelor's degree in aviation technology while giving you your full pilot's license up to your ATPL. So that's how that works. And the nice thing is they have connections with Air Canada Jazz and Sunwing, and they hire cadet pilots out of every graduating class. You have to compete, obviously, but if you get selected as a cadet pilot, it guarantees you a job at Jazz right away, and they put you in the right seat on either a jet or a turboprop after you graduate. So it's quite a nice way to progress into the career. In addition to that, it's the cheapest way to go here in Canada is through these public schools. There's only 3 schools in Canada that have this flight training subsidized by the Canadian government, and Seneca is one of them. So therefore, I only have to pay the tuition on the ground. And with OSAP, my tuition goes down from $48,000 to $24,000. So by the end of 4 years, I'll be $24,000 in the hole, but I'll have my ATPL license and I will have a bachelor's degree. Whereas if you were to go the private flight school route to work your way up to just a commercial and maybe a multi-IFR, you're spending at least almost $100,000. And I know in Europe they have these academies where you go and you can get hired at the end of the program by Easyjet and a few other low-budget airlines. And they are taking also 100,000 euros from you. It's a 2-year program, but you get a job with Easyjet, or you get considered for a job with Easyjet at the end of it, or some other airlines, depending on which airline is sponsoring, or whichever airline is hiring out of that pool of cadets. Was it hard? It is a difficult program. It's simple, but it's not easy right now. Alright, so first year is just ground school items. In the summer, they're going to take us flying 7 days a week in their 172, in their fleet of 172s. And then in September of next year, it's going to be a mix between ground school and flight time. So it's going to get pretty intense next year. The first year is designed to weed out the people who are not serious. So the coursework is hard. When it kicks back in on January 9th is when I start again. So it is quite hard in terms of coursework, but it's just a lot of work. It's not very hard mentally. You can definitely crack it, but it's just it is a lot of work. So if you're trying to manage a full-time job, and yes, now I can see you. Have a safe trip. See you around the skies. You as well. Thank you. And are you gonna stream tomorrow? I haven't made any plans to do so, but I probably will. And there's the wing view once more. Not much to see right now, as it's probably some clouds and nighttime. So we're now cruising flight level 340 at 260 knots. And we're going to be holding this altitude for a little while. Everything looks good here. Everything looks good here. Alright. Yeah, I love the helm as well. And you know, the cabin sounds in this add-on are just great. Though they sound very similar to the fly-by-wire A320. So I don't know if these guys are using the same source for the engines or what they're doing, but it sounds very similar in the interior. But I'm going to leave you guys with this view for just about 2 minutes, as I have to use the lav. So I will be back in about 2 minutes. And we are back. You know what, Boan? Now that I think about it, I think I will stream tomorrow because I do want to fly with some ATC. And I'll be live streaming earlier in the day as Europe will be on their evening time. Is my afternoon time. So I need to be online around the afternoon in order to catch their services. So we got another 40 nautical miles until we reach our halfway point in the flight plan. And the top of descent is not for almost another 140 miles. Getting there. It's gonna be over pretty quick. It's a short flight. All these flights on this schedule are short haul flights. So no more than 2 hours maximum. I am in Canada. Well, and I'm in Canada. Great country of Canada. Is it cold or not? You know what? It was pretty warm up until Thursday. We had a storm starting on Thursday night into Friday morning. Temperatures dropped from 4 degrees Celsius, 4 degrees Celsius to -10. We're now sitting at -15 or -20, like literally overnight. Usually the winters here are quite brutal. They're usually around -10, -20 throughout the entire winter season. That's basically December, sometimes even November. Most of the time just December until February, and then in March we see a temperature rise. However, we've been lucky so far. November and December up until literally yesterday, we were seeing temperatures of about 3-4 degrees. Yes, I am in East Coast. I am in East Coast. How can you tell? You live in Iceland. Wow. Okay, so you are definitely probably used to this then. Iceland's a cool place. I've never been there. Never been. Let's double check our PDCs here, make sure that we're not missing any information. EWG, EDLTFC, taxi to runway 23 left via Tango Lima 4 Michael. So just some Unicom callouts. Almost 1 a.m. Wow. Over here it is currently 8 p.m. We started the stream an hour ago. That's that went by really fast. At 1 a.m. Wow. Everything's still looking okay here. Let's double check the outside air temperature. We have minus 20. We'll get the anti-ice on here. And if we get an ice not detected message, we'll turn it off. Everything looks okay. We're still holding a speed of 260 indicated. And we're at flight level 340. What time are you going to live stream for tomorrow? Probably around 2 o'clock local time. And I am basically Toronto. So if you want to do that time conversion, I will be on around 2 o'clock. And I'm hoping to be live for majority of the afternoon and evening. We're going to be pulling like an 8-hour day tomorrow. Just to grind out this progression on the career, and you know, just I haven't had a chance to fly the simulator for a bit now with school and everything, and now that I have a break, I'm gonna take advantage. So we're just about to arrive at our equivalent point, and here's the software if you're curious to know what it looks like. This is the Simbit World of Pilot's Life. This is what we're using. So we've been flying for 32 minutes now. We're flying over France at the moment, crossing the English Channel and into London Gatwick. We got some traffic around us. Air France 1369. There's Cargo Lux 7754. DLH. That's a long haul flight. Those are long flights. KD Detroit. This guy's going from Frankfurt to Detroit. I'm not sure where this guy's going. Yeah. Cool. How do you know how to use it? How to use what? The software? Or the Airbus A320? The flight sim? Well, the software is pretty straightforward. I did watch a YouTube video on it, but it kind of takes you step by step through setting up your account. Then it takes you, like, it's pretty simple. You have to go to job market. You accept a contract from an airline. It'll ask you to purchase a type rating, and you start with a $5,000 balance. Your account, you pay for your type rating, and then you accept a job offer from an airline that has the airplane you're type rated for. So the reason why we're flying Easyjet Switzerland is because I think it was the most attractive offer, not in terms of pay, but in terms of destinations, and they have a lot of really short haul flights. So that's why I chose this. I wasn't accepted to Rouge or anything else like that because those are a bit higher reputation airlines, so I have to build up my experience before I can apply for those. Is it free? No, it was 30 pounds. This program was 30 pounds, 30 British pounds. gonna try to get some graphics on the screen for the next stream. This is my first time, so I'm taking it slow, step by step. And for the next stream, we'll add some graphics to show exactly where we're flying to. As it is a little bit bare bones right now. I have RTX also 3050 Ti. Yeah, I have the RTX 3060. 3050 Ti is good though. That's good. The RTX 3050 is pretty good. I am running the sim on medium settings now because I could run it on high, but the problem is that it would hover right around 30 frames per second. I want it to be around 40, which is close to what it is now. And reason being is because when I'm coming in for the approach, I find I have a better landing at around 40 FPS. It's just smoother, so the immersion is a bit better. I remember catching you in the sim. I thought you built that thing. No, that was purchased from a flight deck company called Flight Deck Solutions. That sim there, I believe it costs about $300,000 Canadian for the front end, and everything else around it was built by hand. So there's a cabin in the back, a very small cabin, but it's, you know, it's nice enough to make it feel like you're in the real thing. But the cockpit area was a $250,000 or $300,000 purchase for the avionics, the visuals, everything like that. It is quite expensive. You've heard of them? Yeah. Yeah, I think they're the most popular solution for these flight decks. Both home users and commercial businesses use them. So the one that I go to, where I film the 777 videos from, it's actually a business in Mississauga here in Canada, Ontario, Mississauga. And you pay them an hourly rate, and you fly with an instructor. Over time, you know, if you build up your reputation with them, they will allow you to fly on your own. For me, I have a bit of a marketing deal with them, so I'm helping them out with marketing. In return, they're allowing me to fly at the sim for my own YouTube videos. So I'm lucky as I don't have to pay a fee to use it. And let's double check here the VATSIM map again. So no ATC over London. We will have to use Unicom as there is some traffic around the London area. Have you heard of Lego? I have heard of Lego, like the building stuff, right? Like the toy, right? Building blocks. So we just passed over Charles de Gaulle, so we just passed over Paris a few minutes ago. I'm not sure if we caught too much of that. Yes, I have heard of Lego. What's our time set to here? 6:58 a.m. Still quite dark for 7 a.m. Alright, so our top of descent is coming up pretty soon. Got another 40 miles to go. And our approach altitude looks to be 2,000 feet until established on the localizer. So we'll set 2,000 feet in the MCP and activate the descent when that time comes. In the meantime, we'll set a performance for our arrival. So our QNH on arrival is going to be, let's check. EGKK METAR. We need a QNH 1010. Temperature is going to be, I'm not sure what the temperature is actually. We have 210, 7 knots for the wind, 210. And we'll make sure we're in full config. For that, we have a V approach speed of 134 knots. Okay. Laptop is Lenovo Legion. Cool. I heard the Lenovo Legion is pretty good. I went with the Asus because I like Asus products. And you know, having a 3060 Ti, or no, it's not a 3060 Ti, it's just a 3060, was appealing for me. It's pretty slim as well. 14-inch though, it's a little small. It's a little on the small end. So if I for the next one, actually I'm considering getting a desktop next because you know, I switched from desktop to laptop in order to have the portability of being able to take this thing with me during college when I have to move to Peterborough, as that's where we're doing our flight training. But I'm starting to consider to go back to a desktop, just for the, you know, better cooling, a bit more adjustability to the specs. At the end of the day, it'd be cheaper. So you got an RTX 3060, 12 gigabytes. Nice. Yeah, see, the RTX 3060 in the laptop is only 6 gigabytes, so it's a bit less powered, but I noticed the VRAM usage and Microsoft Flight Sim, there's only like 2 gigabytes for me, at least when I'm on high settings, so you know, mine is handling it just fine. "20 nautical miles to go to top of descent." Oh yeah, Michael, so you're probably running your Microsoft Flight Sim on high settings then, eh? With those specs. 11900K, that's great. 5 gigahertz. That's awesome. Oh, you're running Ultra. Nice. I'll definitely be switching to desktop after this. Won't be for a little while though. We'll go ahead and get the seatbelt signs back on now and prepare the cabin for descent. We got 10 nautical miles left to go. We'll go ahead and initiate a bit of an early descent here. So we're setting 2000 in the MCP. And descent has been initiated. So we'll need our landing lights back on at 10,000. And let me double check the VATSIM map, make sure there's no ATC still. No ATC for the Gatwick area. Is anybody in the US on the line today? Wow. Even US is quite it's quite barren. I'm assuming that's also because it is Christmas Eve. Most people are watching probably YouTube or relaxing or something. I'm curious to see if tomorrow we'll have more ATC services though. If you're closing the live stream, I'm gonna sleep, okay, because I'm very tired today. Yeah, man, you're not obligated to stay. We'll be on live for maybe another 2 hours, so yeah, probably about 8,000 between my PC build, my panel, and all my GPS gear. Yeah, that's it's quite a lot. And you know, being a student right now, it's not very viable for me. But one day, we'll get there. One day, one day I'll be flying the real thing, and I'll post video for you guys from the GoPro from the cockpit. And then we'll see who has the better build. But yeah, that's the goal. I want to make sure I get into an airline that allows me to stick a GoPro into the cockpit. I want to bring the joy of aviation, the freedom of flight, to everybody. You know, there's not enough cockpit videos out there, and whatever there are, it's just like broken up segments. Maybe a documentary here, a documentary there, but it's never like somebody consistently posting cockpit videos of a flight they're doing here to there. You know. So I know some companies have different policies for recording, but you just gotta find one that will allow you, or find a loophole. So at this time we're about to begin our English Channel crossing. We're very close to the coast. Yep, there we are. We're about to begin crossing the English Channel, and then we'll begin our approach into Gatwick. Crossing through flight level 30 now. We'll double check the QNH. We'll need 1010, so I'm going to make sure to set that in our altimeter as we reach our transition altitude. Speed is okay. Looks like we're okay on the descent so far. We're right on profile. What PM or AM I'm gonna live stream? 2 PM. 2 PM tomorrow. Alright? So be there. 2 PM tomorrow. And we'll be on until about 10 PM Eastern time. So feel free to hop in any time you want. There you go, 7 PM for you. I think that's pretty good, no? Get your Christmas Day activities out of the way. Your family dinner. Whatever you do. Sounds good, Bowen. If you're logging off now, have a great night. You had family dinner, that's great. I'm a bit alone this Christmas, so Kunav. We're beginning the star soon. We have our first constraint at flight level 160. How old am I? I'm college student age. Yeah, shared cockpit is possible. I've done it before in MSFS. I don't know if it's gotten better now, but for me it was about a year ago. I did it, and it was pretty bad because on final, I got disconnected from my friend. His plane crashed, and mine landed, but I had to save the landing because he had control, so it wasn't a great experience. But I'm sure it's gotten better now. I'm sure of it. For Christmas, you got a Donald Duck book. Nice. We're at flight level 230 now. Oh, 23,500. Beginning our star. Our speed is quite low. We'll have to keep an eye on that. We're doing 240 knots right now. We're about to cross through flight level 200. Our FMC is programmed for performance in the approach. Everything looks to be okay. Are we there yet? No, you will see us land when we do arrive. However, I believe we have another 15 minutes. Let me confirm that. Let's see. UTC. UTC is 6:27. Right now it's 6:12. So that means we got 10 plus 5, 15 minutes exactly. So we'll be on the ground in 15 minutes. According to our flight management computer. We'll continue to set up the aircraft here for our approach. Speed brakes armed, auto brake to medium. And we don't have to do any lights on just yet. Got a little bit more to go. 10,000 feet when we turn on our landing lights. Fuel on board is 4,000 kilograms, so we have a bit of reserve in case we have to go around. And let me just double check the direction of our approach today so I can call it out accurately. So we're doing a southeast approach into Gatwick, and the Kunav 10 is taking us there to Timba, and then from Timba we're doing our approach, and that approach is, which runway did we select? 626 left. So the ILS 26 left. I'm just pulling up the approach plate on my iPad here. So we got right turn, then a left turn in. So our final approach direction will be from, yeah, basically the southeast slash east. So we'll be calling in on the Unicom Top Swiss 72, approaching from east, runway 26 left, but we're not going to do that just yet. Is it Top Swiss? Is that what the guy said? I've just never heard of that before. Top Swiss, yeah. Alright. Oh, look at that. The sunrise is starting to peek through our windows there. My friend in Iceland. It's getting pretty late. If we're starting to see light over here in Europe, you know it's coming for you next, very soon. It is now 6:15 UTC. So yeah, we should be seeing the sun in about another 15-20, maybe half an hour, we'll be able to see a bit more light. But heading back to Geneva, we'll definitely have light, as that is the next leg on today's flight. According to our schedule, we fly from London Gatwick back to Geneva, and then from Geneva to Bordeaux. So it's a bit of a shorter flight to Bordeaux. Bordeaux is a nice place, and then from Bordeaux to Basel Mulhouse, that's an even shorter flight, and also a very nice flight. Actually, they're not much shorter, it's about the same. It's about the same, actually, now that I think about it. Liverpool or Manchester? Gatwick. We're doing Gatwick today. So, landing lights on, and the nose lights to take off. Seatbelt signs are on. Probe and window heat is on. Everything else looks okay there. We're doing 240 knots, so that's good. And we're coming in here for approach very shortly. Auto brake is set to medium. Speed brakes are armed. And yeah, we just wait for ourselves to be lined up with the runway. We'll have to pull out of standard soon, and altimeter is, one more time, 1010. So what I'll do is I'll do it now. Set it back to standard for the time being. $11,000 feet. Okay, engines are spooling up as we're losing a bit of speed here. And there's the wing view. I love the night lights in this simulator, man. They're so beautiful. If it's 9 p.m. for you, Iceland is 2 a.m. Awesome. $9,800 feet. We are within our speed envelope. And let's double check our constraints here. So we need to be 220 knots, flight level 070, and we're pretty much right there. We have a deceleration node just before we get to Timba, and then we continue our descent to 2,000 feet for our final approach into Gatwick. What time do you sleep? I usually go to bed at around midnight. When I was younger, I had to go to bed earlier. Used to go to bed at maybe around 10, as I had to wake up early for school. Got 2,000 feet set in the box. Lights are all on. We'll alert the cabin for landing. There's the right turn, meeting our constraint, right on target. We'll set flaps 1. There's 220 knots. Gatwick traffic, easy, top Swiss 72, coming in for an approach from the southeast Gatwick for runway 26 left. And there's the descent continuing. We'll turn our ILS onto our flight director here. 6,000 feet. We should pull out of standard. We'll make sure the FO is out of standard as well. And you set to 1010. Am I using NVIDIA? Yes. This is NVIDIA Shadowplay that I'm using for this stream here. "15 nautical miles from the runway." And we're doing 200 knots at this time. 5,000. Let's have a look out that window. Nice. It's got that early morning vibe, that's for sure. $4,000. And looks like we have contact with ILS. Still on profile. We'll set flaps 2. And we still have that 200 knot constraint we have to keep an eye on. Approach mode enabled. $3,000. 10 nautical miles from the runway, gear down. Deceleration notes coming up now. Flaps 3. Gatwick traffic. Top Swiss 72. 10 mile final. Runway 26 left. Gatwick. And flaps full. Landing checklist. Landing gear down. Signs on. Cabin ready. Spoilers on. Flaps full.
Unit traffic period 16, left, 27 left. Good traffic.
Okay, so we got somebody coming in 27 left. Should be no factor if there is a 27. Let's check the chart. So there's a 26 left, 26 right. He may not be coming in at Gatwick. Localizer alive and captured, and glide slope should be captured here any second. And I'm just going to check for traffic here. I don't believe there's anybody that's going to be affecting our approach. Air France 78 is coming in behind us. So yeah, looks like we're number 1. We have a headwind 31 knots. That's quite high. But that's good because we have a low ground speed, so should be able to butter this landing pretty well. However, that landing speed is weird. It should not be 160 knots. VLS is 134, V approach 133. I guess that's due also because of the constraint that we have there. A little bit of a shift. And autopilot is disconnected now. I have control. Gatwick traffic, top Swiss 72, 2.5 mile final, 26 left, Gatwick.
$500.
Checked.
Heathrow traffic period 1627 left. 4 miles, Heathrow.
Okay, so we got a guy coming in behind us. He's pretty close. But we have priority. And we'll make sure to vacate for him in time.
Glide slope.
Checked.
Glide slope.
Yes, I'm aware.
40, 30, 20, retard.
Retarded. Nice. And reversers out. $80 knots. We're gonna miss this one. 60 knots. And let's go. Gotta vacate for this guy coming up. Flaps retracted. Speed brakes retracted. Thank you. Thank you for the smooth landing. Gatwick traffic, top Swiss 72, clear of 27 left, Gatwick.
I'm not going to be confused with the Heathrow. It's 326 left now.
Say again, last aircraft.
I say you're confusing yourself now with where I was. You just vacated 26 left at Gatwick.
Just vacated 26 left at Gatwick, that's correct, sir.
I think I caught you out with the Heathrow call.
No idea what he said there, but okay. Alright, have a good night, Mr. Moen.
Heathrow traffic, speed 16, vacated 27 left, November 6, taxiing terminal, Heathrow traffic.
Oh, you were Heathrow. I thought you were at Gatwick.
No, I was making Heathrow calls a couple seconds after you, so I think I caught you out because you 27 left vacated. Like, what? You're at Gatwick.
Got it. That was a funny. Okay, APU bleed is on. Master switch on. Starter switch is on. And speed brakes are retracted. Flaps are retracted. Landing lights off. Taxi light on. Beacon lights remain on. Strobe is automatic. And at this time, we are crossing 27 right. So we'll go ahead and call for that. Gatwick traffic. Top Swiss 72 crossing 27 right. Gatwick. Gatwick traffic, top Swiss 72, clear of 26 right, Gatwick traffic. Okay, so now we're going to taxi to the stand. Unfortunately, I do not have the scenery downloaded for any of the airports. So we'll fix that over time. .25 knots. Auto flight AP off, predicted wheel steering off. Checked. So we're gonna taxi over to Pier 2. Maybe Pier 6. It's closer. We'll do Pier 6. Here at Gatwick. We'll unload the passengers for this flight. And we'll load on the next batch for the flight back to Geneva. I think we'll stick with Pier 2. By the way, Michael Byers, I don't know if you're flying with custom scenery at these airports, but if you're not, like I am, I would highly recommend you get yourself the airport lighting by Andres add-on. It'll give you lights at the stand, because the default airports in the simulator don't have lights at the stand, which is a bit baffling to me, but it is what it is. Okay, here's the stand. Let's find the lights or the lines. Do taxi lights off. And parking brakes set, throttles are idle. APU should be alive. Yep. Fuel cutoff. And we'll get ground services connected. Ooh. D-board. We'll toggle the jetway. We'll get the aft stairs and cargo going. Toggle jetway. There we go. Jetway is now connecting. Very nice. We'll turn our beacon lights off and our fuel pumps off. And we'll check our software. Your flight has been submitted. Good stuff. Let's check our logbook. A score of 99. So where did we mess up? Landing light off before 10,000. Oh, I see. And what was our landing rate? Minus 165 feet per minute. Not bad. Good stuff. So there's our first flight. What's the next one? EGKK to LSGG. We'll generate the sim brief dispatch for that. And that's generated. We'll pre-file on VATSIM. Flight plan filed. And for this flight, we are call sign. What is our call sign? Call sign is EZS 36XL. So we'll disconnect, reconnect with that. And we'll make sure we are on standby. So now we'll re-import this flight here. Import next flight. There we go. We'll open the stream brief OFP on our iPad here. And the next one is EGKK back to LSGG. Beautiful. So we'll go ahead and initialize our weight and balance. Config fuel. For today's flight back, our block fuel is 6421. Should be a shorter flight due to the tailwind. Zero fuel weight 58377. Okay, initialize init request. Flight plan uplink looks to be okay. Cost index is 30. Sorry you stepped away. What were you recommending? I was recommending if you're using default airport scenery to download a mod. It's called Airport Lights. You can find it on flightsim.to. Basically adds lights to the stands at the airports. But if you're using the custom downloadable airports, then you don't need that, because they'll have them added already. Cruising flight level will be 310. And our flight number back is EZS 8472. Okay. Zero fuel weight is go ahead and load this. Load aircraft. Instant. And our zero fuel weight matches. We're at 30.8. 30.8. So our zero fuel weight is 58.4 slash 30.8. Block fuel 6421. So that's going to be 6.4. From EGKK, we're taking the Bong 1X. Departure from 26 left. And insert. And then for our Geneva arrival, we're taking the Lusar 2N, runway 04. Oh. Lusa 2N. Insert. Bought Indibuild's KLAX yesterday. Probably fly out of there tonight. I heard it's pretty good. Will you be flying the Airbus A320? Yeah, same here. I'm a bit of a night owl as well. And we got a manual. So let's do our performance calculations. Sync load sheet, sync live weather. 2.6 left. Calculate. $147 for all. /down 0.1. Flex to temp will be 68 degrees. And there's our performance. FMC is good to go. No sir, Mount Seneca. Not experienced enough for airliners yet. I see. Sounds like fun, nonetheless. Fuel pumps on as we get ready to go here. Beacon light back on. Seatbelt signs are on. We'll cycle that. And APU bleed is on. We are ready for pushback. Let's make sure we get the cruise flight level in here as well, though. Cruise flight level 310. There we go. Set. And managed. And we can begin our pushback. Check to make sure there's no traffic moved around us on the outside. Looks like we're all good to go. I lost almost 600 hours, if you can believe that. Sorry, I meant my Seneca VL, damn sausage fingers. 600 hours, that's a lot. I don't even think I have that many in this sim. Okay. Parking brake is set. Remove chocks, remove GPU. Connect tug. Wing lights on, nav logo 1 beacon on, strobe automatic, taxi and landing lights off. Everything looks good, no lights. And we can start pushback. And as we're taking off 2.6 left, we're going to push back to the left. It's going to be a short taxi out. Alright, push back and stop. Parking brake set. Tug disconnected. And we can begin the engine start procedure. Here's engine number 1. We'll get the taxi lights on. Prepare the landing lights for takeoff. Make sure the software is tracking us pre-flight. Good. Love those sounds, man. Engine number 2 is now available. Engine number 1. Okay, and here we go. Oh, shoot. So out onto taxiway Mike. And we'll take Mike directly to 26 left. Gatwick traffic. I forgot the call sign. Easy 36. Gatwick traffic, top Swiss 36, lining up runway 26 left. Set parking brake. Get that TCAS to TARA. And landing lights on. Taxi, those lights to take off. Takeoff config is checked. Normal. Love to taxi at a busy airport. Looks wicked. Yeah, when there's more traffic online, it is lots of fun. Parking brake off. Throttles of 50%. Gatwick traffic, easy 72. Oh man, fuck. Keep messing it up. Gatwick traffic, top Swiss 36, taking off runway 26 left. Flex set. Rotate. Oh, look at that wind. Gear up. Flaps 2, gear up. Flaps 1. R11 to climb. Auto thrust enabled. 1500. Gatwick traffic, easy 36. Top Swiss 36. South departure. Last call. And autopilot on. Yeah, that was a brutal crosswind actually. Just pushing my airplane to the left. Had to counteract it with right runner, and when we took off we had to roll to the right. 6,500 feet. We'll pull for standard. We're doing 220 knots. Flaps are up. And ground spoilers disarmed. And there's 9,000 feet. We'll go ahead and get those landing lights off. And there's the sunrise off our left. Yes, Michael, that is the plan. And do you aspire to become a pilot as well? You did when you were younger? Life happens. Yeah, it's unfortunate. The owner of that 777 simulator, CEO of the company, he wanted to become a pilot as well. But unfortunately for him, coming from Brazil, he wasn't really set up too well financially for this path. And he immigrated to Canada when he was really young, so he started hustling, and that was it. Just hustling. Same for you, eh? Well, to be honest, I wanted to become a pilot when I was a young kid. However, after a lot of thought and consideration, I decided to pursue IT and computers. But then I went to that simulator for my birthday, and after stepping foot in that cockpit, I decided there's no way I can miss out on this. Because one day I'm going to look up in the sky, in the balcony of my apartment, or on my porch, see an airplane flying overhead, and just think, what if, what if I did do that? So, I don't want to be in that position. But then again, it's never too late. There are a lot of pilots who get into the industry when they're quite old and established already in life. I know quite a few myself. And even if you don't want to do the commercial route, you can always get your PPL. So it's never too late. That's the bright side of it. I just don't want to wait that long. I want to do it now. Even this 4-year program, I wish it was like a 1-year program. I'd be really happy if it was 1 year, but obviously it's not really possible. Yes, sir. Here it comes. I absolutely love the sound of those engines. So nice. And here's our cruising altitude now. We'll go ahead and increase our cruise speed here so we can get to our destination a bit faster. We'll do Mach 0.8. We'll do 300. Just to get where we're going a bit faster, that's all. And no ATC for our approach into to Geneva. .114 knot crosswind. We're doing nearly 500 knots on the ground speed. Should get us there a lot faster. Yeah, indeed, we're gonna have to burn a little bit of extra fuel. But we will be okay for fuel. feel like my cold is getting worse. I'll take another Tylenol. It's been going on almost a week now. Don't usually sound this bad on my videos. Got some interesting content coming soon. I went for a flight with my professor in the 777, so that's coming soon. And also I did a flight with a guest that we had on the channel before. And this time it wasn't just an instructional flight, he actually helped me fly the plane, so I'm excited to get that out. Probably will get it out tomorrow. Alright, we're doing close to our limit here. Almost at the halfway point. Our way back is a bit faster due to that tailwind. We're also doing a higher speed this time. So for Bordeaux, okay, Bordeaux is going to be a really short flight. That's Geneva to Bordeaux, the next one. Nice morning sky. Just a little bit of turbulence, not much though. We are now over France. Yeah, well, unfortunately, it is Christmas. Tomorrow is Christmas Day. I hope that I will feel a bit better so I can go have some family time. But it's not looking good. I gotta say, if you get into airliners, whenever you decide to, go to Airbus first. It is a much easier airplane to fly than the 737. Much easier. Yeah, the Neo is good. If you're willing to spend the money on the add-on, I'd recommend to go to this add-on that I have here. This is the Phoenix A320. But the fly-by-wire A320 Neo is also very good, and it's free. And it has a lot of functionality. I think it's a lot easier on the frame rate than the Phoenix is. I don't think you have to worry about that though. But I would 100% recommend to go to the Phoenix A320. It's the most realistic, in my opinion, simulated aircraft for this simulator. Any Airbus aircraft will do you well though. The A310, not so much. The A310 is a bit more old school. It flies like a 737. It has the same kind of control scheme as a 737. But the Airbus is like the dream airplane for a lot of pilots. I've spoken to a lot of pilots here in our area, and they all wish they could fly Airbus, but unfortunately Canada uses a lot more Boeings than they do Airbus. Like all the cargo airlines here in Canada, such as Cargojet, they all fly the 767 or the 757. Air Canada, I believe they have more 777s than they have A330s. But Europe has a lot more Airbus aircraft than they do Boeing. I see you guys up there a lot when I fly. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Oh, other airliners above you, I see. So we've passed our halfway point. Top of descent coming up pretty soon. Another 120 nautical miles. 1/5 of an hour. So 12 minutes till top of descent. There's the beautiful sun rising over the great continent of Europe. Still doing flight level 310. And that is because we are traveling eastbound. So when we travel eastbound, we have to travel at odd numbers. And that's just basic airmanship. Currently doing a speed of 300 knots. We are pushing the limits on this flight back to get there as soon as possible. We also have a little bit of a tailwind that's helping us now, and will help us out a bit more once we make our left turn to the heading of 125 degrees. And for those of you that are new here, we are on board the Phoenix A320 in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And there's a little bit of a wing view. And the other side. We are over France at the moment, and we are heading to Geneva in Switzerland. And we might need to do anti-ice, as I'm seeing some icing happening on the windows. However, our engine and wing looks pretty clear, so might not need it. Look at that. Isn't that... those graphics are just beautiful. Even on medium settings, like... that's incredible. Do they teach us air traffic control at school? No. Not really. They teach us communication with air traffic control as a pilot. And they also teach us a little bit about the perspective of an ATC controller. Like what they're looking out for, what their intentions are, what their duties are, and this kind of stuff, but they don't teach us how to be an ATC controller in the tower. They just teach us how to communicate with them as a pilot. Look at that. That's just gorgeous. I'm surprised even medium settings looks this good. I'm happy with that. The approach into Geneva should be a very nice one. Yeah, but I'm sure yours looks better, Michael. I'm sure yours looks better. You let me know if it's a big difference, though. We'll start a descent quite a bit earlier for this one, as I don't want to be stuck in our manual vectoring for too long once we get down there. We got another 80 nautical miles to our top of descent. And as I said, we'll do a bit of an early descent so we can minimize the time we are in manual mode for the final approach for 04 at Geneva. And checking my iPad here, still no ATC, which is just fine. Keep it nice and easy today. Nice and easy. And we'll go ahead and start setting up the aircraft for the approach. Approach phase, Q&H. Let's check it. $10.19. And that's all I'm gonna do. Full config. And our approach altitude is through the manual. We are to be at 6,000. And we'll do speed brakes armed. We're still on TARA. There is the turn, and we'll go ahead and begin the descent. So we don't have to do this manual at all. We can go direct to the intercept with ILS. Descending through flight level 30, and we'll give the speed back to the airplane to manage. You know what? Just for curiosity, I'm going to try high settings here. Yeah, with streaming, we're hovering about 35 FPS. It's dropping below 30 though. And let's force our DLSS to ultra performance. Oh. Yeah, no. Performance. Doable. 40 FPS. High settings. Drop to 33. Not bad. Are those clouds being rendered at high though? They are. Cancel. Reset to default. Let's try it. Well, we'll put NVIDIA Super Resolution to performance. And one quick thing we'll change here, we'll make the glass cockpit refresh rate to low, motion blur to off, ambient occlusion to low, and I'll make it off. Okay, so far we're good, no drag required yet. funny thing, I have it set to medium and it looks the exact same as it did before. So let me go back to medium. This is not good. I always do this, mess around too much with these settings. Frame rate limiter on, 30 FPS, NVIDIA low flicks, low, and VSync off. Or VSync on. Let's try that. Oh, and DLSS, we'll leave it on performance. A little bit of a wing flex. Get a little bit of turbulence. Let's get the seatbelt signs back on. We're now passing through 26,000. We can do without VSync on. It's giving a bit too much lag. Okay, now I'm curious. I'm back on 40 with the AMD Fidelity X sharpening all the way to 0. What if I go back to high settings? Yeah. We'll leave it on medium, and that's it. I'm gonna stop now. I'm gonna stop. I need to relax. But I'm going to turn up this to balance so I can see the instruments a bit better. Yeah, Michael, you know what it's like, eh? Putting it on auto. Never-ending battle with Microsoft Flight Simulator. You know, I used to be able to run it on high at like near 40, 50 frames per second. Now, not anymore. And then if you wait another month and a half or so, it'll be back to that. It's like on and off with these guys. Here, neither here nor there. Always tweaking, always tweaking. But I'm sure if you pick up an RTX 4090, get the highest end CPU, you have nothing to worry about. Nothing. And we'll make sure that all our lights are on as applicable. Seatbelt signs are on. Ice not detected. See, the only drawback with the A320 is that it might get boring. So not a lot of work to fly this thing. Well, on the 737, you're constantly changing this, changing that. Tuning the ILS frequency, tuning this, tuning that. Might need to add some drag. Tend to read manuals and stuff when you're in cruise. That's nice. I tend to watch Netflix. But now that I'm streaming, I'm chilling here and talking to just you, pretty much. Some beautiful mountains in this area, though. Reminds me of Romania. I will try to see if I can get a schedule with a flight to Romania. It's my home country there. Try to teach myself about flying ATC and all that stuff. Nice. Alright, we're a bit on the high side for speed here. We'll deploy speed brakes. Bit of a misty morning here in Switzerland. We're gonna have a low visibility approach, I believe, due to the fog. And we're just about to pass through 10,000. Landing lights on. Everything else looks good. Seatbelt signs are on as well. Do you always have to use a departure and arrival when you fly? It depends on the airport. It depends what you're flying. If you're flying an IFR flight, more often than not, you will be required to fly it via a SID or a STAR. And that depends on the controller's IFR clearance that they issue you when you request it. And when you're flying direct, you're not flying IFR. If you're flying direct, you're flying VFR. When you fly IFR, there's not really such a thing as direct, because IFR means instrument flight rules, and if you think about it, you have to use your instruments for that flight. Meaning, how are you supposed to navigate if you're going direct? Well, if you're going direct, you navigate by looking out the window at landmarks on the ground. Oh, there's Charlotte, there's this, there's that. Okay, perfect. When you're flying IFR, you are required to fly your airways and waypoints as planned in your flight plan that you submit to ATC, so they know where you're going via what route. So you always, the thing is with Microsoft Flight Simulator, they make the planning page the option to give you direct when you're doing VFR. However, in the planning page, if you choose IFR low altitude airways, which if you're flying GA, you're going to be using that, it'll show you the waypoints that it calculates for you for your flight plan. I'm not entirely sure on the legalities of that, but I know that that's the standard operating procedure. Oh man, I'm excited to fly US. Unfortunately, there were no contracts available for any US airlines in this career add-on, as I'm not experienced enough to fly for any of the airlines in the US, as most of them are pretty good reputation airlines. 7 days, I'm stuck on this contract with Easyjet. And as I build my experience over the next 7 days, I should be able to apply and get accepted at a US airline and fly US. 'Cause I love flying US. It's my time zone. And ATC's always there too, so ATC's always there, so it's just nicer. Virtually, yeah. I'm not a real pilot yet. I'm still in school. Yeah, virtually. This career add-on I was telling everybody about, this pilot's life, Simbit World. Oh, look at this. We have another guy coming in here. Going Lipa to LFSB. So he's probably in cruise. And Geneva traffic, top Swiss 36, 30-mile final for runway ILS 04, Geneva. And we'll do flaps 1. Approach mode enabled. Yeah, this is a bit of a complicated approach due to the altitude constraints, and that's... See, this is why it's important to fly these SIDS and stars. This star that I'm flying now, the arrival for runway ILS 04, see, it has an altitude restriction of 6,000 feet at Belka, and you know why that is? Look what's directly in front of us. It's this big mountain, right? So we need to make sure we are at 6,000 feet above sea level in order to maintain the proper distance from that mountain. So that's why, that's part of the reason why you fly these standard terminal arrivals. So, because there's always these special stipulations in them. And see, if you were flying VFR, look how hard it is to see anything below that foggy layer. And as we descend into it, it becomes impossible for us to see any mountains and terrain as well. And that's why, again, that's why we fly that star. It's giving us the exact step-by-step guidelines on how to safely approach this destination. And landing gear down. Throttle's idle. Yeah, so the flight plan for this flight was created through SimBrief. If you want to do some very proper IFR flight plans, SimBrief is free to use. And all you have to do is plug in the waypoints that it gives you into your GPS and your GA aircraft, including the departure and arrival. And if you're flying with a G1000, it will give you the correct route when you put it in. But MSFS doesn't throw you off. If you select IFR high altitude or low altitude airways, it does have a memory bank of these approaches and approaches and departures. So if you select an IFR high altitude or low altitude, and you don't let it say automatic approach, you have to choose it manually. You have to choose the one that's more closer to your route. So, yeah, I'm sorry, it's a bit hard for me to explain right now because I'm a little bit tired now. It's 10 o'clock my time. But the idea is if you select a star that's accurate to your flight plan, that's close, that's intersecting your flight plan, then you will be okay. Just don't let it go to automatic. If you let it go to automatic in the flight planning page for Microsoft Flight Simulator, then yeah, you're not going to get a SID or star on the approach. Most likely it'll just take you direct to a runway that it automatically selects. So I'm not entirely sure what our minimums are for this approach. So definitely I'm not doing the correct thing here. I'm just gonna do it anyways. We have both autopilot master switches on, so we have 1 and 2, and therefore we have a Cat 3, as we have very low visibility here. Might need an auto land, but hopefully we get some visibility before touchdown. Let's check out the side window there, see what those people are seeing. Nice views, nice views. Nice crisp morning here in Geneva. Yeah, but the GNS 530 should be able to, you should be able to program your SIDS and stars into that. I think I had it before as well. Okay, I have the ground in sight, and the runway lights are just starting to peek through there. Look at this fog. This is interesting. Okay, runway lights in sight. Autopilot disconnect.
Flight slope.
Geneva traffic,
Flight slope.
top Swiss 36, short final,
Flight
ILS
slope.
04.
Flight slope. Flight
50.
slope.
40, 30, 10,
First green. There's 40 knots. Manual braking. Brake fan on. And we'll vacate here to the right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Geneva. It was a bit of a messy landing though. Got another landing inhibit, I'm not sure why. Had an auto throttle disconnect there on final, which is not a big deal, but Geneva traffic, top Swiss 36, clear of 04 Geneva. Alright, we're on a straight path here. We can start messing around with our lights, get our APUs started. And we are on taxi lights. Brake fan is on. We can turn terrain off. And now we taxi to the gate. Flaps are off. Speed brake disarmed. And we'll grab this gate off to the left here. Let's see what it looks like for our dear passengers in the back. Looks pretty good. There we go. Stand 43. Or is this a gate? I believe this is a path, I think. Not entirely sure how this gate system works. It's a bit strange. Okay. Yeah, not sure about that. I guess you're supposed to kind of park in a bit of a circle, almost. Yeah, definitely a strange system here. We'll park it like this for now. I guess we'll follow this intersect and park it on a bit of an angle. I guess the idea is for you not to require a pushback. You just start your taxi from the stand. Parking brakes engaged. Our APU is available, so we'll cut the engines, make sure our hydraulics are all set here, so speed brakes are up. Engines cut off. We'll get those chocks set in place. Go ahead and deboard. Chocks forward. No, we don't need forward stairs. We just need toggle jetway. Toggle jetway. Aft stairs. Forward cargo bulk. Make sure that jetway is connecting. It is not. Toggle jetway. No. Okay. So looks like we're gonna get stairs. Aft stairs. Forward stairs. And now that we have chocks, we'll disconnect the parking brake in order to let our brakes cool down as we have the brake fan on. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for joining me on the stream. And there you can hear that whining sound. That's the brake fan running, cooling down those engines, those brakes. So we'll get the flight director ILS off. Oh, let's get those beacon lights off. And taxi lights off as well. Strobe is still on auto. We can turn the seatbelt signs off. And we'll do the fuel pumps off. Exterior power is available. And we'll get the APU bleed on to continue to get some air conditioning in here. As the outside air temperature is 7 degrees Celsius. Quite warm here in Geneva, so not bad. And let's take a look at what score we got for that flight. Going to the logbook here. 99. So what did we lose a point on? Landing light off before 10,000. Oh, sorry, that was the previous flight we did. This one we got a score of 97. And that's because we used pause. And the taxi light was off on taxi in. I don't recall that, but okay. Fine. So our next flight is Geneva to Bordeaux. And that's going to be, I think it's about an hour flight. So, yeah, I think I'm going to call it here. And we'll come back tomorrow with the next leg. So thanks for everybody who stopped by, including those who are watching after the stream has been uploaded. We hope to see you soon. And expect some more videos from the 777 Flight Simulator tomorrow to be posted on the YouTube channel. Bye now.